So what is going on, everyone? Fernando Silva here with another video, and Apple tomorrow will have their spring loaded event at, I think it's 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. Pacific time. So in that event, it looks like we're going to get iPad Pros, maybe some Mac products, AirTags, and a bunch of other Apple accessories, and maybe even services along those lines. So what I wanted to do today was actually show off all the iPad Pro essentials and accessories that you would need for not only the 2020 iPad Pro, the 2018 iPad Pro, but then hopefully also for this 2021 iPad Pro that Apple's going to be releasing tomorrow. So without further ado, these are my must-have iPad Pro accessories right before that spring-loaded Apple event. Let's get into it. So before we actually get started with the accessories, I did want to mention that all of these accessories will work with both the 2018 and the 2020 iPad Pro, and they do usually have 11 and 12.9 inch variants, and hopefully this will ideally work with the 2021 iPad Pro when it comes out, because I don't think the form factor is going to change all that much. The only thing is going to be that is if the camera bump gets larger in diameter and circumference, but I doubt Apple's going to be giving us a bigger camera bump on the iPad Pro, especially when a lot of people don't even use that camera. But the iPad that I'm using is a 2018 iPad Pro in the silver variant, 256 gigabytes of storage, no data. And I got this during Prime Day about 2 years ago now at this point, and it's been a game changer. Absolutely love the iPad Pro. If you guys are watching this video, then you guys are probably iPad Pro owners, and you guys know exactly just how powerful that beast is. So I have the 2018 model and the 12.9 inch variant. I like to go with the bigger one. The 11 inch one, we do have it. I have the 2018 one as well, but my wife usually uses that one. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact, and a little bit more portable, but I like to use mine as my main computer. And then on the iPad Pro itself, I have a dbrand skin on the back to give that carbon fiber look. If you guys know by now, I'm a big carbon fiber, looking accessory kind of person, so I have carbon fiber on my phone, on the Apple Watch, on my Airpods Pro, and now even on the iPad Pro. I like to keep that, as uniform as possible. So that's the sticker on the back, or the skin on the back. And then on the front, you guys know, channel sponsor Paperlike, always keeping us protected. First link in the description below if you guys want to keep your iPad of any generation, of any size, of any model, as protected as possible from a screen perspective. And gives you that nice anti-glare and that resistance for when you actually write with your Apple Pencil. And we could have made this, review easy, or this video easy, by just saying, hey, get a Magic Keyboard and you're all set to go. Because we do have that, and I do think the Magic Keyboard is a great option for the iPad Pro. But again, it's an expensive Magic Keyboard, and it does look like maybe we're going to get a new one and a new Apple Pencil with this new iPad Pro. So I'm going to keep that one out because it is a $300 to $350 accessory, and I wanted to keep that one out of it. But what I've been using recently is this new accessory by a company called Moft. You guys have probably heard of them before. They make a lot of iPhone, iPad, and MacBook accessories for kind of on-the-go ergonomics. And this Moft, I think it's called the Invisible Float. It works with the 11 inch and the 12.9 inch, and it does have the camera cut out for up to the 2020 iPad Pro, which will fit the 2018 iPad Pro. But this thing has worked wonders. It's a very sturdy case. The material is very similar to the original Magic Keyboard, or, Smart Folio keyboard that you get, so that kind of like rubbery, soft touch material. Very, very sleek. It doesn't kind of slip out of your hand, and it doesn't leave too many fingerprints either, which is nice. And then what I like about it a lot is that it comes with this built-in stand that gives you a bunch of different viewing angles. You can kind of lean it against the stand. You can stand it up and kind of have a tabletop-looking stand, or anything kind of sort of like the actual Pro Display XDR sort of look. So you kind of get a nice ergonomic feel and look for the iPad Pro, and lets you have as many angles and stands as you want. And so far, it's been working great, and I've been using this stand a lot to play my NBA 2K on the Apple Arcade with my Xbox controller, which has been a game changer. And I'm going to have an Apple Arcade video coming here sometime soon. And then to stay with Moft, they actually sent over this really cool foldable and collapsible table stand. So it's something that you can kind of just slide in a backpack. It's very, very thin, very light. And what you do is you kind of just take it apart, and it can work in multiple ways, right? You can use it as a stand to put your laptop up against, so you can kind of prop it up and have a better ergonomic feel with your keyboard. Or you can stand it all the way up and kind of plop your laptop on top and have a on-the-go standing desk. So no matter where you are, depending on if you're at a coffee table, coffee shop, at a WeWork, co-working space, wherever you are, you can just slap this out, enlarge it, uncollapse it, and then all of a sudden you have a standing table that's super lightweight and you can travel with you at any point. So that's a cool one to have for both the iPad Pro and any laptop of choice. Highly recommend these two Moft products. They've been game changers for productivity, especially on the go. It's amazing how they can make something so sturdy with materials so thin. That's kind of, I don't know, it must be a physics thing, because I would not be able to do that. And then one iPad Pro, I want to call it case in quotes because it does work with the Magic Keyboard, is this kind of case slash sleeve that goes on by Pitaka. So Pitaka made a sleeve that is compatible with the iPad Pro and the Magic Keyboard at the same time. And it has the 3-pin connectors on the case itself so you can get that pass through to the Magic Keyboard. And so far it's worked great. I have the skin on it, I have the Pitaka case on it, and the 3-pin connector still goes all the way through the Magic Keyboard. It works perfectly fine. I have no lag, no hiccuping, the mouse and trackpad still work great, and it does close fully. So that was the biggest thing. I wanted a case that could cover the outside of the iPad Pro without adding too much bulk, that still works with the Magic Keyboard, and also folded all the way down, which is really, really nice. And it comes out and it works the way it's supposed to, and it fits how it's supposed to. So kudos to Pitaka for making such a thin and portable case. So again, at this point, we're just protecting the sides of the iPad Pro because you do get front and back protection with the Magic Keyboard itself. But I like having this, and it adds a nice little carbon fiber feel, and it's really lightweight, doesn't add too much bulk. The next few items actually have to do with getting yourself set up and actually getting some work done, right? So these are the 3 items that I use whenever I'm trying to get real work done on the iPad Pro. So before the actual Moft Invisible Float stand, I was using the Satechi stand, and as you guys can see, it still works while I still have the Moft stand kind of on it itself. So I have the Moft case on it, and then I just slapped it on my Satechi stand, and then in front of that stand I have my Satechi X1 Slim keyboard with the backlit keyboards, and it's a compact version, so it doesn't have the number pad on the right hand side. And then I have my Logitech Anywhere S2 mouse, which everybody that has seen this video or seen this channel knows that that's my tried and true mouse. I recommend getting that one, and then there's also the S3 that came out, which has USB-C instead of micro USB. So if you guys don't want to use micro USB, just go with the latest and greatest one. But if you guys want to save a little money and get the same exact functionality, the S2, the only caveat is the micro USB to charge. But again, I've charged it a handful of times in the last 18 to 24 months. So in terms for audio, I just use the Airpods Pro. I use that for leisure, for music, for video editing, for whatever the case may be. 0 latency, you get the active noise cancellation. It's hard to compete, and I've had them since day one, and they've had 0 issues at all. And the battery, those are actually one of the few iDevices or Apple devices that the battery actually holds true after a decent amount of time. And I could not say the same thing about the original AirPods Pro or the original AirPods. Those, after about 1.5 years, gave me about 1 hour of battery life with each headphone. So the AirPods Pro, so far so good. And in terms of external storage, I have a 500 gigabyte RAV Power SSD. It's tiny, it's USB-C to USB-C, it's got great transfer speeds. It works with the MacBook Air, the iPad Pro, so I can't really complain. I use that as a kind of like an archive when I have finalized videos. I just throw them in there so I don't have to delete them off the iPad, and I just keep them there. And then to stay with RAV Power when it comes to power on the go, I have this 20,000 milliamp hour battery that gives you USB-A, USB-C out, and a full AC adapter out. So you can plug in pretty much any wall adapter from 18 watts to 100 watts, and that is the power that's going to output to your computer or your iPad. So again, it's only 20,000 milliamps, so the AC power will probably charge your iPad over 1.5 times, a MacBook over once. But the beauty is that you know that you have an AC outlet on the go whenever you need to go. And then you have the USB-C port, which outputs at 18 watts, and the USB-A port that outputs at 12 watts. And you can have them all plugged in together at the same time, and it works wonderful. The only thing is that when you do turn on the outlet or the AC power, there's a little fan that kicks in that you can hear just to keep everything cool. So if you're in a silent room, you'll hear it a tiny bit, but if there's any noise or you have headphones on at all whatsoever, it'll just kind of go into the background and you'll forget about it. And then one last item that I think goes well with any setup or any carry or anything like that is by a company called Touchsmart. It's just this fine mist like hand sanitizer. It just has 3 ingredients, so 200 proof alcohol, so it's very, very strong. It's gonna kill a lot of germs, essential oils, and then just water. So you can pretty much spray this on anything. You don't have to rub it down. You can air dry it or rub it on. So I've been spraying this on like my keyboard, my mouse, the iPad, like anything that I'm touching all the time, some doorknobs and stuff like that sometimes, but always good to just have it in your carry no matter what it is. But highly recommend for all your tech products as well, especially because most of our tech products are pretty much waterproof now. So a couple spritz of this, it'll disinfect it every day, kind of at the end of your day. Those are my main items. So I think that's 12 items that I would highly recommend to anybody with an iPad Pro or even just a regular iPad. Just kind of make sure that the cases work and things like that. But the stand, most of the accessories, as long as you have the USB-C to Lightning adapter or anything like that, it'll work with the older ones. But if you have an iPad Air 4, then you're good to go because that already has USB-C. But that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Comment below. Are you guys going to pick up the new iPad Pro when it comes out? What are you expecting? I'm expecting a decent amount out of this iPad Pro, but visually it's not going to look that different in my opinion. And then from a spec standpoint and a hardware standpoint, how much better can they really get? Or how much more would I personally really need in order to upgrade even from the 2018 model to the 2021? But that is my 2 cents. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time,